really do need to like buy like an off the shelf better intro because that's just what comes with Restream, and it's just like as much as it's nice to have like church intro, like we need something that's more on brand. Hello, Akiko. Hello, Star. Hello, Russell. Hello, Chuck. Hi, guys. Welcome to Sunday Mass. I'm glad to see you too. It's been a couple weeks of getting used to writing a daily column in the end in the trail of the apocalypse. So it's weird, like when your brain isn't completely full of oh my god the sky is falling, you can focus so much better. Simon has entered the chat already. She's already here. I think it's Jordan. I think I gotta put the kibosh on this Queen of Seychelles thing. This has really gotten out. Like, look, if someone from Seychelles contacts me, that's when I'll know this has gotten really out of hand. But for now, maybe it's fine. Maybe I can just keep going, being the in people's hearts and minds, the Queen of Someone from Seychelles is gonna get pissed eventually. That's gonna happen. She'll be I'll be the colonizer of Seychelles from afar that has never stepped foot. It'll happen. It'll be a thing. Jeff Goodman just asked if he's having a stroke. I don't know, Jeff. Am I using words incomprehensible? Are you all right, boy? You doing okay? Anyways, I had no plan for what to talk about today. I came in here with nothing. It's like the problem lately with things about COVID is the whole situation is bad and we're just waiting on vaccines to be sorted out. I feel bad for smiling while I'm saying these things, but I'm incapable of not smiling my way through tragic news. Someone just said, "Oh, what's in the cup?" Oh, I wanted to quickly, just because I need to, like, because one day I'll learn how to make words in normal order, but for now, stuttering is going to have to do. But there are many links in the description below here, and one of them is a link to my Amazon wish list. And a handful of you, Russell, have made it a hobby of buying everything off of there, which I appreciate so much. One of them, my co-host over on my podcast, for whatever reason, has fallen in love with the Le Creuset mugs, because she told me, she was like, yeah, they hold heat so much better. So I put a few of them on there, and two of you guys have sent me a mug, which has been there. It's, you know what, she wasn't lying, they hold heat really well. So I just decided it's going to be, they're my new podcast mugs. So you guys are so that's it. Oh my god, HJK, it's just a quick I know most of you guys who are chatting are over in over in Facebook, but HJK is one of our patrons, so I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, my friend. I hope you're doing all right out there. I don't know if it was COVID related, but I'm so sorry. I hope you're doing okay. So big hugs. I'll see you. We'll see you in the patron live stream. We'll chit chat more. So it's rough. Dear Lord, this has not been an easy year. I remember, like, I believe it was last week when I did the annual, or the live stream last week. It was like, yeah, we all survived oh god, not so light and fluffy. But yeah, like right now the hardest thing that's going on with whatchamacallit, with COVID is vaccine distribution, and it's not it's not going well in the US, to say the least. Like, I wish that I had anything resembling good news. And it's right now it's just a giant effing mess. And I think I talked about this a little bit on the live stream on Friday with Steve, but I want to get into it a bit more. So there was Buddy Dog has joined chat too. Hold on a second, Buddy. Buddy's like, no, Mom, I was just coming to sniff your feet. Don't get all hot and bothered about it. But what happened? Anyways, so what happened on last week was the Trump administration said, yeah, we're going to release, like, we had a reserve of vaccines that was going to be for the second dose, and we're going to just release those. And apparently there was no reserve of vaccines left when they said they were going to release those. So now, like, and I'm very unsure of what the situation is now. It's like, do we have vaccines that are in production as it's going that are going to be ready for people when they need their, like, are they caught up to the point in terms of production speed that they're going to have vaccines ready? I'm not sure. It's very the whole thing is kind of messy. I know there are some states where they've opened up their vaccine. Anyone over 65 can get it now. There are some places where, yeah, it's a big issue. Just said, they were lying, right? Yeah, of course they were lying. They lied about it. Is there anything this administration did not lie about to the public regarding COVID? Like, and I don't mean made a mistake about, I mean, is there anything they were completely honest about from day one about COVID-19? Like, anything? Can you find one thing they were consistent on and honest about? Thank you for bringing this up. Hold on a second. I would have forgotten to mention this if it hadn't been brought up. Tammy Amano just asked about the 23 deaths in Norway due to vaccine. Here's the thing: we are so I haven't had since this information just came out. I obviously have not had a chance to look into it yet, since no one has had a chance to look into it. But let's chat about this, because we don't know if it was, quote, due to vaccine, or if it was they got the vaccine and then something else happened and they died, because these are people in nursing homes and we don't know if they had already, like, it's when someone gets a vaccine and 2 weeks later they die. A number of things could have happened in those 2 weeks, especially if we're living in a plague and they could have already been infected and they hadn't gotten full immunity in that time. Because the first you were not granted, when, especially with the Pfizer vaccine, you don't get full immunity the first 2 weeks that you get after the shot. It takes from the first shot to the second shot to I believe 2 weeks after the second shot to when you get full immunity. I'm not sure if the charge is that the shot killed them or if they still got COVID or what, but it doesn't there doesn't seem to be any evidence of publicly available information yet saying as a result of the shot they had complications that were known to come because of this shot and they died. It's all very up in the air what happened. Like, I'm looking for more information about it, but I haven't found anything yet. Dan over Periscope just said, I just did a legal case that involved reviewing legal clinical trial reports. One had under adverse effect internal bleeding due to gunshot. And here's the thing, like, those, I'm going to guess that wasn't kept in the report under adverse effects due to, from the drug. But, that's, yeah, exactly. It said not study drug related. Like, that's the thing. When in any given week, you're going to have a certain percentage of the population that gets sick, that dies, that gets married, that gets herpes, that buys a dog, that gives birth, that whatever. And in any given week, if you take a certain percentage of that population and give them a vaccine and give them a drug and whatever, a certain percentage of that population, no matter what, is also going to die, give birth, get married, all that good stuff. So we're not sure yet what percentage of these people would have died, with or without. So a cause of death has not been determined yet, from what I understand. So that's a thing that's yet to be determined. I'm still keeping an eye on it. If I find out anything, that makes me think that certain people should not get this vaccine for any reason, I'll be here to tell you about it right away. Because, like, the other thing is, if there are certain people that should not get this vaccine, that means other people who can get it absolutely should. So if it's a thing where people above a certain age with certain kind of health risks really can't get it and need to just be isolated to stay safe, then, like, everyone else needs to get it. Those people need to stay masked, because that's terrifying. Somebody Dawud Mazarek, and I apologize if I just butchered your name, just asked, should you and I think you were joking, should you vaccinate your children? No, only the ones you want to keep. So right now there is no because they haven't tested these in children yet, because they could only test 18 to 65, right? These vaccines are not approved for children yet, or the use all the vaccines that are approved and recommended for your children. Please give them all the vaccines, all their boosters, everything that their doctors want, everything they have to use to get into public schools, everything. But the COVID-19 vaccine currently is not approved for children. And that's just because they haven't run the trials. They haven't figured out the appropriate dosage. And, they don't know how they haven't done the testing. Right now, several of the drug companies that have approved vaccines and have vaccines in trials, they are working on getting trials set up with children. So I believe if you have a child that you would like to be immunized, Pfizer would like to have a chat with you because they are looking for volunteers. I believe it's Pfizer. I want to say it's Pfizer. I think Pfizer and Moderna both at this point. They need volunteers, and it's a much smaller trial than the adult one. It's John Seymour just said that's a pro-vax joke, but yes, I'm aware it's a pro-vax joke, but I also wanted to use it to explain a thing because some people didn't know that there was no COVID vaccine for children yet. Just want to. It's like you don't have to. It's not that it's normally a really good joke. It's just normal right now. The disease we're talking about, no vaccine for kids yet. So just don't. Why does someone have to try to explain to me that was a joke? I need more coffee. Again, really good mug. Oh, that was a really good point from HJK. No approved vaccines for kids, give them to teachers, maybe? Yes, please. If they're going to go back to school, I really hope that whatever phase they're in, they go, oh, if we're going to open schools this fall, teachers need to all get their vaccines. Because, I've seen so many people argue back and forth with data, good and bad, about whether kids should be in school or whether or not. And I understand there's all sorts of sociological impacts of them not being in school. I don't have kids, but I understand that it must be miserable for them to be stuck at home. Learning via computer is no fun for an adult. I've done a distance, I can't understand. I can't even imagine what it's like 8 hours a day when you're a kid and you want to be running around with your friends. So I understand why the kids being back in school is a good thing. But if we're going to do that, the teachers, the adults, the older kids, the ones that have pre-existing conditions, they have to be vaccinated at the very least. The adults at home need to be vaccinated. So I don't at the best in this country. That's what's scary. By the fall, at best in this country, we might have 75% of the population vaccinated if we do a really good job from here on out. So I hope that 75% includes all the teachers, it's just gonna basically the kids that aren't at risk are going to be the last ones to be vaccinated. And it's because, and I was surprised when I looked this up. Now I don't know if the stats are accurate or not. Now, don't get mad at me because I was surprised by this statistic too. Okay. And I never want to downplay a disease that I likewise, you guys know I've accurately played. I've been quite honest with you about how dangerous this disease is. And I was surprised. I looked up how lethal this was for children. I was trying to find out what I was trying to figure out how deadly COVID was for children compared to chickenpox. Chickenpox is actually ever so slightly more lethal for children. Slightly. It is tiny. But here's the thing. I get it. It's much better that children don't get chickenpox. Please get them their vaccines for chicken. Much better. That means they don't get shingles. But I'm saying this for a reason. Once upon a time, kids got chickenpox and they kind of were okay because we had this wonderful rolling immunity to it. The danger with chickenpox was much more, number one, shingles, and number two, it was deadlier when you were older, right? After the age of basically 12 and up, it gets much more dangerous. Where was I going with that? But I had a plan with where I was rambling on that. Why did I bring up the chickenpox? This is how I know that I have not sufficiently caffeinated enough yet. Hold on a second. Oh my God! Someone just said my kids don't know what chickenpox is. Oh yeah, chickenpox lethality compared to it. So, anyways, once upon a time we had this rolling immunity to it, and it was kind of it's okay if the kids get it; they'll likely be fine. Now, here's the thing. we're still going to have kids that have, like, even with those statistics of kids are mostly fine with it, there are still going to be kids who get really sick. There are still going to be kids who need to be hospitalized, and there are still going to be kids who die. The statistics are a thief of joy. They're a liar to you. So yeah, likely your kid will be okay and will either be asymptomatic or have a mild disease course from COVID. But there are also a ton of children who have been hospitalized. And part of that is that none of them have immunity right now. So if, basically, if we took away everyone's immunity to chickenpox right now, you'd have a lot of kids who ended up hospitalized from that too. It's just that, they're all immune. So that's what we have to take into account, is that as soon as there is a vaccine available, please give it to your children. But given how much less lethal and how much seemingly less long-term damage there is for children, the priority in terms of where the vaccines go, it doesn't seem to be with children. If you do have a kid especially with lung issues, with underlying immune disorders, that kind of stuff, please, talk to their doctor, figure out what the plan should be for school, if you should keep them out until they can have a vaccine. But yeah, it's Chris just pointed out, shingles is so much fun though. This is why having a vaccine is a better way to get immunity to the chickenpox than through it's kind of like this same thing with chickenpox and with COVID. Getting your immunity through the vaccine means you don't get, like, you're immune and you don't get all the nasty little side effects. Because yeah, you've got a shot at getting out of both of those diseases with no major problems, right? But then there's also the risk of things getting kind of fucking miserable. And why do that when, a bunch of scientists got together and they're like, we're going to make a science liquid that makes this not a thing. Don't spit in the face of science. We did so many good things. Actually, no, spit in the face of science. She's a dirty whore. You're welcome, or I'm sorry. I hadn't gone that direction for a while. You're welcome. So I see somebody, Sherry, saying, I had chickenpox. My kid had it. I had chickenpox as well when I was 3. Akiko just said, don't underestimate chickenpox. I had a friend who went blind in one eye. Pardon me. I had chickenpox when I was 3. My brother was 6 and brought it home from school. And you don't remember the sickness you had when you were 3, right? By the way, pineapple Perrier is definitely the best flavor. It's, fight me on this. But I don't remember anything about my case of the chickenpox, but my mother guarantees me that I was sick enough that if I somehow did not get immunity to this, I am so much more broken than we ever realized. But she's like, yeah, you had them in your ear, you had them between your toes. I'm like, oh man, apparently I was sick. But this makes me real, like, I as soon as my insurance covers it, or as soon as I can, beg, plead, get one, I want myself that shingles vaccine, because I've got myself some zoster hidden up in my system. But I was born in here's the thing, some kid, my younger millennial brethren, I'm an elder millennial. I was born in 1983. My fellow children, do you know when the smallpox? Sorry, smallpox. Dear Lord, I'm thinking of the wrong pox here. The slightly crankier version. Do you guys know when the smallpox? Hold, let me just more of. Are you guys aware of when the chickenpox vaccine first became available abroad and then in the U.S.? Anyways, I'm not gonna. I don't have people in front of me answer. I'm just gonna throw it out there. 1988 was the first year that the chickenpox vaccine was available abroad. I believe it first became available in Korea and Japan, and then in 1995 it became available in the U.S. Though I'm sure that there was a scale of places it was available in between and after, of course. But 1995 was when it first became available in the U.S. So it was available abroad 2 years after I got 2 years. 2 years. I just missed it. So yeah, like that was, it is funny because there are gonna be more diseases like that. Like I'm waiting, like there are going to be more diseases that we think of as just, everyone gets them. And eventually we're just going to have a vaccine, and like, we'll go from having a rolling immunity to everyone gets vaccinated. And I think that's fascinating and wonderful. And it's interesting that we're at this point in the population where I have this hair stuck to my lipstick. My God, it's driving me nuts. Okay, it's gone. Sorry. But like we have like about give or take a half of whatever of the population that got their immunity from catching it, and now we've got everyone below the age of what, like 30 or so, give or take, that got their immunity via vaccines. And you know what? We have this great wall of herd immunity against it. So so by and large, we don't get that many chickenpox outbreaks. So proof the herd immunity is a real thing. Anyways, I could go into that for hours. So, here's a good question. Advice on how to help others decide to get vaccines. They're not devout anti-vaxxers, more worried about mRNA vaccines. I need more coffee in my system for that. It's so there's a lot to unpack with this. Now, here's the thing I want to warn you about first. Don't feel bad if you don't succeed, because there are a lot of people I know who are not anti this vaccine. They're like, look, I just want a little time. And I'm like, oh God, do you understand that every day you're not vaccinated is a day that you could get and you know what? Don't take my tactic or don't use the internal voice in your head that's going, don't, like every time someone says a dumb thing, because that voice will fuck you over. Trust me, that voice is the one I compete. It's as much as I can very calmly explain a science thing to a person while they're saying a dumb thing to me, that's after an argument with the voice in my head that's like, call them an idiot. Call them an idiot. No, you can't do that. That's not going to help them give their kids the science liquid. So, start off, ask them what they're worried about. And like, I try to go with the real, Socratic method. What are you worried about? What have you heard? Where did you hear the information? And start off with that and be like, all right, so, after you've gotten a little bit about what they're worried about, then try to explain a bit more about the vaccine. Now, I know it's hard to go into all the technology behind the vaccine, but, sometimes they're going to have different things they're worried about. And if you get to the point where with the vaccine, it's just they keep on moving the goalposts, and there's no amount of calming them down. There's no amount of information you can give that will help them out. And they kind of end up saying, I just don't trust it. It's just too new. Like, there's nowhere you can go with that. But one of the things that I found has helped people kind of put this into perspective is that people look at it and they think the vaccine has risks. And all they are thinking is vaccine is like, it's that this vaccine exists in a vacuum, that it's either this vaccine or no risk, that they're going to take zero risk. There's no risk or a vaccine. And that's not the situation that they're in. It's a situation where the air around them, the very air that they're breathing at work, at the grocery store, if they twist their ankle and have to go to the hospital, that air contains a pathogen that has a 1% chance of death, about a 10% chance of chronic, lifelong injury to several different internal organs, chances of stroke, chances of all sorts of we don't even know if some people are going to get two of their senses back, of their sense of smell and taste could go away forever. And there's a shot of all of those things just from breathing in the air. Much higher risk of all of those things from catching the COVID. And that could happen at any time. And the sooner you get that vaccine, the sooner those risks go away. And all of those risks, the risk of death from COVID is higher than the risk of any of the major risks that come with the vaccine. Like the scariest risk is that you could have an allergic reaction that's treated in office that day. Nobody has had, let me rephrase it, the scariest confirmed risk is that people have had allergic reactions. So you've got to, you have to temper that with an allergic reaction that day in the office that can be treated versus a thing that's going to make me drown in my own lungs for a few weeks at the hospital. It's just a side note. Like I've had friends catch it. I've had one of my friends has had their infant child had to be put into the NICU. I've had a kind of acquaintance that I hadn't spoken to in years pass away. This last week was the first week that a friend of mine was hospitalized for 2 weeks. And I was really worried that we were going to lose them. And it was terrifying. It was fucking terrifying to think, oh my God, this is I did not think that this was going to hit this person who didn't seem to be in that bad of health. And it's that was as close to home as it's hit so far. And I've been very lucky so far in my life in terms of how many people it's gotten to. But I look at that and think, when we're telling people about the vaccine, we have to remember, it's not the vaccine versus you're going to go about your day, your life and be fine. Vaccine or not, it's fine. This is just an optional. It's like it's having dessert, or it's like, do you save room for dessert? Nah, I'm fine. I'm good. It's no, it's the vaccine, or you take your risk with COVID. And I think one of the newest bits of research that really terrified me was that COVID lung, it appears to be worse than smoker's lung, be worse than asthmatic lung. Post-COVID lung will fuck you up for a while. Now, there's mixed evidence on people who are asymptomatic, because it seems like some people who are asymptomatic, a better term, and I've used this before in here, is they're subclinical in their presentation, or they have, like, the virus is in their body, that they are getting symptoms. It's just they're not presenting to a point where they're apparent. So even though they have the disease, their immune system's fighting it off, and their lungs things are happening to their lungs. They just can't feel it. So it's just that, and that's much more likely to happen to young people who have a stronger innate immune system, and that's a discussion for another day. Let's see. I hope that answered your question at least a little bit on how to talk about vaccines. In terms of specifically the mRNA vaccines, I think people are worried because they've heard that this can alter their DNA. And that's like saying that eating food with DNA in it can alter your DNA. Like, there's anything, just because something has DNA in it does not mean it can alter your DNA. It's very silly. Everything has DNA. Just that, like, people are getting scared because people online who want to scare them are using big science terms that they also don't know how to use. This thing has the mRNA in there has a very tiny thing that it is trained, that it has a purpose to do, and it is not to reprogram your DNA. Your DNA, after it goes in there and it's fine. You're not. Like, I'm sorry, but to steal from the meme again, like, you're just not worth microchipping or genetically modifying. Like, neither am I. None of us are. They didn't work this hard to put a liquid into you to slightly genetically modify you for what? You think you're gonna turn you into the next X-Men or the next Avenger? You think this is what's going to happen with that? No, like, they're just going to make you not get the COVID. Like, that's what's going to happen with this. So please get the vaccine. Don't get the COVID. Like, I'm asking you for your sakes. So, but like I said, though, if you're trying to tell people, please get the vaccine, and they just keep shifting those goalposts, and eventually it gets to, I just don't trust it. At some point you gotta there's precious oxygen and bandwidth that could be better spent on almost anything else. There was a question up here that I didn't want to miss. Here we go. I'm probably going to take this off the screen in just a second because it's a very big block. Here we go. So what is working? Mask man. Here's the thing. It's not that these things don't work. Is that there's no enforcement of any of these. Like, mask mandates work. We're not actually following up on them. Closed restaurants work. Restaurants aren't actually closing. Closing gyms would work. We don't actually have closed gyms. We don't actually have closed salons. We don't have closed shit. All right. We have some things closed and fewer people going to them because of fear of like, people aren't staying home because of a lockdown. They're staying home because of the virus that's causing the lockdown. So businesses are not making enough money. They're remaining open because they have to, because they need any pittance of money they can get, because they're not getting any government aid during this time where people aren't going out and shopping because of the fucking virus. And everything is just getting worse. Now, in countries where they've had hard lockdowns and given their citizens money to stay home, like China and New Zealand, their economies are bouncing right the fuck back. I'm just saying, this whole we gotta die to save the economy. I just want to point out again, China is right. Their economy is just, they're smooth. They're fine. They did a 2-month really fucking shitty hard lockdown. It's 2 to 3 month, I think, shitty, awful hard lockdown. They're back to normal now. Their economy's like nothing ever happened. New Zealand, hard ass lockdown, things tanked for a little while. They're having concerts and soccer games and weddings and things that we used to have here in the before times. I haven't left my house in literally I have not gone to the grocery store in over a month. Everything is delivered here now because we're getting, like, I believe over 1 in 3 cases or 1 in 3 tests is coming back positive now in Los Angeles. This is making my dog very upset. It's science, dog. What do you think about all this? He says there's too damn much COVID, buddy. What do you want to tell the people? He's a very good nose polisher. Are you the best nose polisher? Yes, you are. How are you so cute? He's very cute. He's terminally cute. Science dog does whatever science dog does. Anyways, but yeah, there are things that we could have done to make this less bad. And I understand the question saying, these things don't seem to be working. They work when we do them, but this is a societal responsibility. And if only, half of us are doing them, that doesn't work. Like it's kind of like with herd immunity. We need a certain percentage of the herd to be immune in order for the disease to not spread. And we don't have that percentage anywhere near close to that percentage playing along, because if we had those masks on everyone, it would cut off the number of people who it could spread to, basically giving, and I don't want to call this herd immunity, but it would give us a type of it would give us a protection that would stop the spread in a way that we aren't getting right now, with in the absence of either everyone vaccinated or everyone just wearing a mask. I just want to point this out for my friend and otolaryngologist Dr. Nina Shapiro. If my thing will let me click on the right message over here, and this is kind of horrifying. Up to 30% of healthcare workers are refusing the vaccine. So we're in big trouble. Also, you should just free plug. Nina has a wonderful book. Words are hard for me today. She has a wonderful book called Hype. It's all about medical misinformation. Go check it out if you're looking for something to add to your Kindle reading list. Nina Shapiro, Dr. Nina Shapiro, her book is Hype. Go check it out. Anyways, just wanted to give that quick plug. Yeah, 30% of healthcare. I love you too, Nina. 30% of healthcare workers are refusing this vaccine. So with that, and I just look. I love nurses. I have a nurse on my admin team here at SciBabe who is brilliant and is more trained on medicine than I am, obviously. And the amount of great work that has been done on me medically and on everyone who's ever been through the medical system by nurses is beyond commendable. But also, far more of the people that are refusing this vaccine are nurses than doctors. And I just want to point out, if you're trying to, buddy, shush, if you are trying to figure out who you should get your information from in terms of deep working knowledge of the human body, an understanding of the immune system, and understanding of what a vaccine does, you should get that information from doctors, not nurses. And I'm not saying that because I think they're unintelligent. They're extraordinarily intelligent. I'm not saying that because I think they do bad work. They do amazing work. They save lives constantly. I'm saying that because the doctors know more about your immune system and your anatomy than the nurses do. And that's why they're not refusing the vaccine anywhere near as much. They know more, and the information is the reason, and the knowledge is the power that's making them do the right thing here. So, That's why. I'm just saying, when the person who went to school for longer is the one getting the vaccine, go for the vaccine. Just my suggestion. I go for the one that the people with the tons of diplomas are getting. I'm like, give me many shots of the science liquid. So that's there's my ramble. Here's another point from Nina. If I can ever click on the right thing over here, they have concerns based on misinformation from social media nonsense, and it's true. It's like I wish that this wasn't the case, but somehow, after going to a hospital all day, and of course every nurse doesn't work in a hospital setting, but after going to a hospital all day, seeing patients, knowing that this is a thing, and going home and just seeing people on social media being like, nah, those people are dying from COVID, they're dying from pneumonia, ignoring that COVID causes pneumonia. Like, this is the thing that's happening, and it's kind of horrifying. Like, I know someone who their partner got out of nursing school recently and hasn't been able to find a job, and because this is just, I find this amusing, kind of. Like, I don't find it amusing that someone's partner hasn't been able to find a job, but their partner hasn't been able to find a job out of nursing school. And I asked a doctor friend of mine, like, hey, isn't there kind of a nursing shortage right now? Like, there always is, but isn't it worse now during the time of what's going on with this? And is it abnormal? And my doctor friend was like, they're hiring nurses who are still in nursing school right now. So I think your friend's the one with the issue. But like, here's the thing. My friend whose partner is not getting a job right out of nursing school, because they're not getting a job, they're starting to think this whole thing is a hoax, because they're like, why would they not hire my partner if there's so much COVID? Cheers. Maybe your partner's a shitty nurse. I don't know. But yeah, that's literally a thing that's happening to someone with an advanced diploma that I know. Let me tell you how much fun it is. Like, it's good that I have this platform to go and number one rant to preach to the converted here, and to occasionally post something that gets shared and hopefully occasionally influences a friend of yours to make a better decision. But you have to understand, I can't even get all of my friends on board with the science too. Nina, have you had this experience too, where you've tried to get where you have tried really hard to convince a friend of yours, and they know you're a doctor, they went to med school, or they know you went to med school, they know you have all of this information, and you still can't convince them that a medical thing that is real is real? Just they know what they read online. It's the case. It's hard to convince people. Disinformation. It's like, and sometimes it's harder when it's your family, because they look at you and go, well, I know you have this job, but I know what I believe. Like, I've had this happen sometimes when, like, I'm on a work thing, or like someone will meet me who, like, someone will meet me who, love you, Nina. Someone will meet me who, like, they know what I do. They're like, oh, it's a side bit. I have a question I really want to ask you. And they're dying to get my input on it. And what they really want is for me to confirm what they already want to be true. They don't want my actual opinion. They're hoping my opinion tells them the bullshit that they really want to be real is true. And then when I tell them that, detoxes don't, whatever the thing is, they're like, I read this so many times that I'm just going to keep believing it. I'm like, that's not science, though. Like, I get a little thrill whenever I find out that, whenever I kick bad information out of my head, I'm like, oof, that was deeply orgasmic. That was wonderful. I'm kicking out the old and putting in the new. This is great. I don't understand the whole Ryan, thank you for the stars. I don't understand the whole being resistant to new information if it's gonna help you, especially if it's gonna save your life. But people are so determined not to admit they're wrong that they'll take it to the grave with them. So it's also I'm sure I've been meaning to message you about this, Nina. But Nina, do you want to come on the podcast next? Do you want to come on the stream next weekend? Can we arrange that? Could we do that? Because I think people would love to chit chat with you too. Because otolaryngologist dealing with the COVID in LA would probably be fun, to, I don't know if it would be fun for you, but my people would probably enjoy you. Anyways, but yeah, this has been hard to say the least. HJK just commented, Z-Dog is nicer than me, a better communicator, but I can't. Come on. Posting. Trying to click on a thing to get it to show up on the screen. Z-Dog is nicer than me, a better communicator, but I can't handle nice at this point. There's one. I will message you after we're done with the stream, Nina. I could probably, yes. I've been kind of disappointed with Z-Dog, and you guys know that, number one, like you guys remember a few years ago I was on his live stream. I loved him so much. Like, I sent the video of his live stream that I was on to my agent, and my agent was like, "We need to start pitching a show with you two. You were so good. Like, we had such good chemistry together, just bouncing off of each other. We randomly started harmonizing together in stream. It was great. I just, like, every once in a while you just bond with someone so wonderfully. Like, he was so wonderful. He was so sweet, very respectful too. I just want to, like, he's great." But like, and I gotta, I hate mentioning politics in the context of a science thing. He has kind of at the time he was located out in Vegas. I believe he's relocated to the West Coast. He has kind of, and this is something that I've noticed with my friends in Vegas, and I say this with love for all of my friends in Vegas who have interesting political views. There's a huge libertarian contingency in Vegas. It's kind of a thing, and his crew that kind of runs the technical aspects of his show are very libertarian, which has been which was kind of surprising. Like, not too surprising given that they were in, again, Vegas, and a lot of people who are skeptic-y, science-y in that area of the world, libertarianish. And the thing that started him, and I didn't know, I hadn't seen any sign of it before the pandemic, but beginning of the pandemic, like, there was that video of him and Paul Offit, and I know I've mentioned this before, that went kind of viral. And the problem is because Z-Dog and Paul Offit. Now, I want to say again, I've loved so much of Z-Dog's work, and I respect Paul Offit and the fact that he's invented a vaccine and he's done so much to promote vaccines. I say this with deep disappointment, not with hatred towards these two. So please, like, don't send them angry messages about this. This is just, man, I hate that this happened. They had, like, and I think this came from both of them from a place of they wanted it to be true. And when people want things to be true, they try to, they try to see things in the data that aren't there. And also, it's typically with skeptics, it comes, like, it almost always happens that our worst fears, that, like, it's we're the people who tell people don't be afraid, we're freaking out about nothing, don't pay no attention to the media firestorm. Like, that is a common thing that happens with skeptics, where we tell people, the media is making a thing about nothing. Like, that's the thing that I did for the first several years of my career. I told people GMOs are safe. I told people pesticides are safe, or let me rephrase that pesticides and the way they're applied properly are safe. I told people things are safe when they were afraid they weren't, when there was proper evidence. And that's the thing, is you have to look at all the individual bits of evidence for each individual thing you're communicating about. Like, and it's not just, and that's being a good skeptic, is looking at each little looking at the evidence each time and going wherever it takes you, even if that place it takes you is somewhere awful, unimaginably awful. And this was not what I wanted. Like, at the beginning of this, and I was quite clear. This is something occasionally that a troll will show up and be like, "You said it was nothing to worry about." I'm like, no. I said at the beginning of this, because I was watching the exponential rate of growth from the beginning. I'm like, I said at the beginning, if you are outside of a small region of China, you are more likely to get the flu this year. Please get your flu shot. And then I said, slowly as it spread, it's like, all right, please, like, I believe I was one of the first people who said, hey, you might want to get a couple weeks worth of dry goods. So please buy a few extra bags of groceries. And then, like, 2 weeks later, the world closed down. So like I never tried to downplay. I said at first, don't freak out about this yet because we don't know enough yet. But I never said after we saw the rate at which cases and fatalities were going up, don't worry, it's fine. After they saw the rate of fatality, like after they saw the exponential growth rate of this, Paul Offit and ZDogg MD were telling people it's not going to kill as many people as the flu. We're panicking over nothing. This is not as deadly as, like, they were giving people all the lines that the Republicans are telling people. They're giving people all the lines that Republicans are continuing to tell people, which is just so disappointing. And it's just like I said, I have loved the work that these two have done for so long, and at least Paul Offit came out and said, I was wrong, I'm sorry, here's good information on this vaccine. And he's been very good about about the vaccine, and he's been very good about promoting good, safe information about COVID. I'm really disappointed where ZDogg has gone, because again, I love the guy. He was so nice. And when I say nice, I don't mean, nice, like, I think he deeply cared about communicating science, and I think he still does. And I think he's just, I don't like, I don't understand why this is the path he's chosen to go down with this. And I wish that he could take a check to the brain on being a little bit more objective on this. So it's, again, ZDogg, call me. I'd love to chat with you. Just come on, ZDogg, buddy. It's someone just said ZDogg's a total fraud. Hey, he's a doctor. He's an actual doctor. He's an internist. He's been he knows what he's talking about a lot of things. But he's very smart, very kind. I think sometimes good, smart people who are trying to get good information across occasionally go down a bad route because of the influences around them. And like I said, the friends he was working with, the people he was working with are libertarianists. So I don't want to throw somebody off the map who I think is who I think can be an extremely good force for good. Extremely good force for who can be a force for good. And so as much as I'm disappointed where he is right now, I don't think ZDogg is let's not throw him out yet. Let's hope that he can change, because he could change once, he can change again. So ZDogg, come back to the light, my friend. Come back to the light. Just don't we can get there. I saw somebody comment earlier up, and I had to say thank you. Hold on a second. Where was it? Let me give me a moment if I can find it. Hiding that comment there. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I apologize. So I don't want to try to pronounce it, but so I just want to, this was on my Amazon wish list, which is again linked below. You guys have sent my household so much candy through the course of the pandemic. I want to explain how wonderful this has been. Now, like I said, also one other thing I want to show you, since I believe this was from Reinhardt who sent this to me. I'm going to take this off for a second to show you. Kitty ears. Oh, so you can see I'm having an awesome hair day. But yeah, someone sent me my little kitty ear crop top hoodie. So thank you. So I appreciate you. But yeah, here's the thing. I have my I've got my Amazon wish list up, and like there are some expensive things on there that I never expect anyone to order. But Russell, you keep on getting everything off the list, which I'm shocked, amazed, and appreciate more than you understand. But like the thing that shows up from the list that like makes me just fucking cry tears of joy, not literally cry, but like just makes me go aw, and makes everyone in my house who they're all like, look, there are a bunch of hippies who eat hippie food, but for fuck's sake, a bag of candy shows up, and suddenly about almost a dozen adults who understand that they have their own money and can go buy candy themselves are like, candy, and it's just been it's been great. So we really like I appreciate you appreciating me. And it's like I said, you guys all know the other ways you can support the channel are via Patreon and of course a one-time donation to PayPal. Here's another thing. Starting, I'm going to be opening this up today. If you guys have been enjoying the daily moments of science, I have now compiled a spreadsheet that is linking both to the Facebook posts for the moments of science and to all of my blog entries for them because I put them up on scibabe.com. And I also added a little thing in the spreadsheet of weird thing I Googled while writing this. And this is available only for patrons. So if you want to be able to go back and jump in on the discussion on anything of these on the Facebook page, or if you want to be able to just find them to send to a relative that you're like, hey, here's a fun thing you should know. I've got them all linked up and I'm going to have them available again for patrons. If you want to come over, if you want to come to Patreon, also starting next month I believe I'm probably going to do this 15th of each month, is we're going to have a once a month brainstorming session for all of these, for all of the daily moments of science. That's going to be, again, patron only. I'm trying to lure you guys in and you guys get to both, help add to the magic and see what my really fucked up process is for making these. So I'm excited to drag you guys into all of this. But yeah, this is there's all the different ways that you guys can join the weirdness, that support, join, be a part of the weirdness that is all of this. But always, Hershey's Kisses are so totally appreciated. They keep the flow of the house going. So thank you, and I really I apologize that I cannot for the life of me pronounce your name, and I don't want to insult you by screwing it up. So thank you again. Anyways, but there's one other comment. It's on the Amazon wish list. There happens to be a bass guitar. If anyone decides to buy that for my roommate, that'd be neat. Anyways, an electric bass. If you guys do that, we'll do so much more singing for you. So much more. Just get together, do some planning, buy the bass guitar for my roommate. You should totally do it. We'll do one concert a month if the electric bass shows up. We'll absolutely do a concert a month. Electric. Anyways, I say this and I'm like, I know I'm asking way too much. Anyways, but yeah, come join the Patreon. There's more. And also we have one monthly live stream for patrons only. I tend to prank call our senators during those. I mean, I tend to voice my opinion as an American citizen to our elected officials during our Patreon calls, sometimes in the voice of Melania Trump. Anyways, so I wanted to throw those little calls to action out there. So there are all my little, please join the things. So that's fun. Someone just commented after, I'm guessing, looking through my Amazon wish. Also, damn, your wish list expanded with the snacks. Yeah, I know there are people who feel weird sending cash, and because via joining Patreon. I know that there are people that are like, I don't want to just drop some money, but like I think some people are like this, and people don't have a ton to spend. They're like, I want to do something to contribute. Cookies seems to be a thing people feel comfortable sending. So that's why I'm like, I'm just going to throw on every gluten-free thing and every candy that I like and see what arrives. It's been fun. Steve Patterson, let's crowdfund that base, people. Look, if you do that and it arrives, I'm live streaming the video of my roommate opening that up, just to get the reaction from it. Also, there will be, like I said, there will be monthly well worked out concerts with it. Hannah's been like, we need to sing again. I want to do this some more. I'm like, I think we can manage more singing. So it was funny because I'd heard her before we did our little Christmas concert. Like I'd heard her rehearsing before, but like I hadn't heard her like doing a sitting down and seriously playing. And it's the first time we just, harmonized with her playing and singing. It was just like, oh my God, are you talented? But like everyone, there are so many people in the house that sing and play multiple instruments, and just, yeah, she's good. she's really good. But yeah, just, I'm just saying, it's there. I know I sound like I'm joking. I absolutely promise you guys a concert each month, not necessarily a long one, but a concert every single month of some form, if that electric bass shows up. work something out. Don't send me candy for another few months. But I'm just saying, come on over to the base side. I'll throw in an extra lick. And one more. Look, my roommate has had a rough year. She had she was in she was cycling and she was in a bike accident, and like she was biking and someone hit her in LA, hasn't been able to and hurt her wrist, and she's both a music teacher and a musician, hasn't been able to it's been a while since she's been able to play as much as she has. And that's kind of been the case with a lot of people in my house, where not the accident thing, but after she got her wrists and her arms back up and functional, the pandemic happened and she wasn't able to everyone in the house hasn't been able to play as much, or hasn't been able to play period. They haven't been able to go out and get paid and do the type of work they normally do because they're all working musicians. So that's been kind of a terrifying thing to watch happen to all my roommates who are creatives. And I'm fortunate that I already had an audience here, but I would have been screwed if I was just a writer who wrote at the outline and the outline closed and I didn't have all of you guys to chat with. So I really appreciate you all a lot. But seeing other people in my house who are incredibly talented go through such a rough time, with it being really hard to get unemployment when you're when they're contractors, when they're doing contract work, and seeing or some of them had part-time employment and there wasn't unemployment showing up from that. It's been rough to do. So what I'm saying is a new electric bass would be fun. Anyways, but you guys are fantastic. If I don't expect this thing to actually show up, but if it does, I'm pretty sure there will be a sobbing Hannah on the floor. And like I said, concert every month. So anyways, someone just said, can the Royal Richards play your concert? I feel like I should know what the Royal Richards is, but one of the housemates is actually my father-in-law. It's a huge house, just to be clear. My father-in-law is as far from, he could live next door and be closer to me than if he lived in this house. It's a very big house. I'm on the 3rd floor, he's on the 1st, and it's very opposite ends of the house. Anyways, but he is an amazing saxophone player, so eventually we'll work him into the band. So we'll have a Richard. Just I don't know if he's rich. I don't know if he's royalty, but that's a thing we'll work in. Now, everyone in the house plays something. My husband's working on playing, not the harpsichord. Sorry, I'm mixing up my instruments. But everyone's got a thing that they play, and it's kind of we're working on getting the band up from the 3 of us to 6 of us that all do something. I am the one who does the least instrumentation, and I play the guitar and play the piano a little. It's one of those things where if I'm playing the guitar and someone hears, they're like, oh, you play the guitar, and then someone shows up who really plays the guitar and they're like, oh, you weren't kidding, you're bad at this, aren't you? So I think it's important to know how talented you are or aren't, but all the talent that I have vocally is all the talent I don't on the guitar. I'm okay on the I'm competent-ish on the piano, I think is what I would say. But yeah, that's what I got for that. But it is not an exaggeration to say singing together, and not just that, but seeing the huge response here, because there were about 45,000 views on the little Christmas concert we did. Seeing that was kind of it warmed all of our little hearts here. We have been, it's Christmas has been rough, or it was rough. Most of us in this house have not seen our families since the pandemic. A few people have gotten out to see to see family, but most of us stuck here. Hannah and I definitely hadn't been. I think no, he hasn't yet. So all of us who were in that little concert had not seen people yet. And there's something about, if you're someone who grew up in a musical family, there's something about Christmas carols that make it all feel, like real Christmas again. So thank you guys for giving us the chance to do that, and for being a little part of our Christmas too. So that was just so wonderful. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling now. You guys are great. So moving on. I want to see if there are any more. Someone with the screen name Dumbass Mitch said, just drop by to say hi and show my support for your content. I want to go with the French pronunciation Dume or Dumas. it's Sir Mr. Mitch. I appreciate your appreciation. So we're that is great. So anyways, I want to I apologize for asking you guys for so many things, but look, the hardest part about writing the Moment of Science pieces is literally finding what I want to write about. And I've said this before. I like finding things where like society and science and innovation and accidents and mistakes and weirdness and why the fuck did you do that all smashed together. And it's like that's where some good writing comes out. Like the best thing about these is that they're stories, not just like there's like I like to start them off with a little science lesson and then go into here's all the human fuckery that happened. So if you have a favorite science story that you would like to be scibabified, my email address is thescibabe@gmail.com. Slide it right on in, and if you want credit for suggesting the story, just let me know. I'll link to a thing of yours. But just shoot me a message. I'm happy to I'm always happy to take suggestions for this. It makes my life easier if I don't have to go hunt for it. It makes, and I think it makes your lives better if you guys are like, I want to see a thing, and it gets put into creation after that. So Debbie Riddick said I'm loving the daily stories. You know what? I'm enjoying writing them. Like I got to admit, it was hard to switch over. It's gotten much easier. Like the first few weeks I was up until or the first week and a half, I was up until like 6 a.m., 4 to 6 a.m. every night writing them because I did not know how to put myself on a schedule. Now they're getting much easier to write. I kind of have a rhythm to it. Like I can write a couple in a day and I'm fine. Like I'm trying to get to the point where I have some of them banked so that I could eventually take like a week off and go on vacation and just hit auto post. But like now, like my flow is I get the thing 95% written the night before. I wake up the next morning, and while I'm still in bed on my phone, on Google Docs, I go through and do punch up. And I punch up, and half the time I post it from my phone before I set foot on the floor in the morning. If I haven't gotten as much written as I want to the night before, I get up bright and early and finish it the next morning. But I like having it mostly written so that I can it's like, all right, this is too in depth. I want to take it out and just add a dick joke in here. Like it's a fun little time for me, and it's something after a long time. Like I hate blaming it on the Trump administration, and it's obviously not all the Trump administration. A lot of it was my own deep depression and my own inability to cope, which that's on me. But it's hard to focus on trying to produce something that you think is beautiful and a piece of art and something informative when you think people don't believe in facts and don't believe in the media. And there's always somebody out there telling people the media are liars, facts aren't real, fuck science. So it's something about the new year starting made me go, all right, maybe it's time for this again. Maybe there's a place for this. And it's been nice to get away from debunking too. I've really it's nice to inform as opposed to get into fights with people all the time, because I'll get into fights with people accidentally just because it's me. I don't need to pick fights with every single thing I write anymore. Like it's making David Avocado Wolf angry. That was very cute for 2017. Where I'm in a new decade. I can get into an argument with anyone anytime on Twitter. I don't need to spend 2 months writing an article to do that. So this is much more fun, and I'm having a good time making them filthy and instructive, and making pee jokes like I did today. Like I did not know the story that the discovery of phosphorus came from boiling down 1,500 gallons of piss. Oh my God. I was reading that going, what? How? What type of, how did that, no. So that was, I hope you guys understand. I'm learning a lot when I'm reading these two. Like these things are insane to me. These things are fascinating. Like there were a lot of these. Like I would say about half of these stories I had not heard of before I started writing them. Like I would, it's just I'm reading and I'll find one throwaway line that I'm like, that happened. Oh, I'm turning that into a story. So I'm having a good week. I'm having a good time with them. Anyways, I'm going to try. Yes, buddy, come here. Come here, tiny thing. I love you, my tiny dog. Yes, dear? He's a good little nose polisher. Good little nose polisher. Good little nose polisher. That's Peter Edwards. Glad to point you in such a pissy directions. I think it was, yeah, was it you just who mentioned that over on over on Discord? I think it was funny. Both you mentioned it on Discord, and my husband, he's a collector of like old timey science books. Like if there is, he loves like antique. Like if there is a science book that like has old book smell, he's got it in his collection. Like he has a book on phlogiston, which is part of the reason why I ended up writing writing about it. He had a book that's just on the discovery of the elements. So I'm probably going to do more articles on, each of the like on the stories behind the discovery of each of the elements, because there are great long in-depth stories on these in each of his books. So it's like, okay, I've got I've got some actual, it's I'm not Googling for everything. I've got books, courtesy CO my husband. So it's his obsession with old chemistry or science textbooks has been very useful for this, especially because a lot of them have just wonderful stories, and that's part of what's fueling this. So no, it's like I said, just let me know your favorite science story, and I'll find a way to make sure that everybody else knows about it too. So I'm going to wrap this. Oh, here we go. Jon Snow, could you discuss how SARS-CoV-2 is endemic and life will never return to life pre-pandemic? Also heard there is a strain resistant. Let me showing that on the screen now. Trying to, Elise. Come on, show up. Here we go. Why are you not showing? There we go. Also heard there's a strain resistant to vaccine on the other side of the globe. I'm pro. All right. I'm not sure if you're asking me to talk about this on one of my daily things that I write about. Those are the things. The daily moment of science are more history. They're more like, hey, here's a thing that's happened through history, not a here's a thing that's happening right now. But yes, it is likely endemic, or it is endemic, not likely endemic. So endemic means it's all around us. It's in life. It's saying life will never return to life pre-pandemic. Like it's life. Even if there was no pandemic, life on Tuesday never returns to what life was on Monday. That's kind of par for the course. Now, life after every pandemic doesn't return to life pre-pandemic. Some things change, right? Like we are going to have probably different, certain different procedures in hospitals for certain types of cases. We're going to have different. We have mRNA vaccines available now. There are going to be new diseases that we're going to be able to treat or make vaccines, or not treat, prevent with vaccines now that we hadn't been able to before with vaccines. So that's one thing that's great out of it. It's in terms of other things that won't be normal. People are going to keep wearing masks for a while. I'm going to guess there's some people that will continue wearing masks in public, possibly permanently. Like there was a culture of mask wearing already in some Asian countries. I'm gonna guess some people in the U.S. like I might continue to wear masks just out in public. Period. Just because that's because I would, because I like pulling faces at people. I like just, I talk to myself silently half the time. It's easier to have people not think you're crazy if I can't see part of your face. But yeah, there are some things that aren't going to return to normal, and it's going to be kind of a rolling return to normalcy, because some people are getting vaccinated this month. Some people are only going to be vaccinated 6 months from now. And in that time, some of the people are going to start wanting to go back to normal life, and it's going to happen bit by bit. So, a year from now, people are going to be going out, having pool party, doing whatever, breathing on each other all they want, and life will be kind of sort of back to normal-ish. But, like saying life will never return to life pre-pandemic, yeah, of course that's true. But also, people are going to go back to, like, my relatives are all in Nova Scotia, Canada. You know what they're doing? They're going to proms. They're having weddings. They're having Christmas. Like they're doing all the usual shit they were doing before. Like we don't have to catastrophize this. Like it's not like we're going to be like, oh, there was a pandemic, now we're all living in bubble land. Like we don't, and I know I'm a catastrophizer. fully aware. But this is not going to be the worst thing. That is, it's not going to upend society after it's over. It's not going to Mad Max us, which would be entertaining. It's Fury Road was great. Moving on, but we're not going to. It's not going to upend us after it's come to a close, or after it's come to a manageable point. We're going to be okay once vaccines have this manageable. So the other thing you said, you heard there's a strain resistant to the vaccine. I have not seen a single piece of confirmatory evidence or a single piece of news that has said that it is resistant to the vaccine. I implore you, I strongly implore you to not spread that information because it does not seem to be true. So please don't tell people that the vaccine doesn't work on certain strains because it will stop people from getting the vaccine, which is bad. Okay? So please don't spread misinformation about a vaccine that will stop people from getting a deadly disease because you heard a rumor. Because that would hurt people. And I don't want you to be responsible for hurting people because you know nothing, Jon Snow. Anyways, I just wanted to lay that out there. I see that you're pro-vax. I just want to, Jon Snow, just not. There's not a strain that's resistant to this vaccine yet. I see you saying thank you for addressing or not spreading. But I see you saying you're asking. I want to be clear. Like there is a danger in thinking something's true and just saying like and here's how misinformation accidentally spreads. And it's not I don't want to be mad at you. Also, I think it's just great that your name is Jon Snow, but I can say you know nothing, Jon Snow. That doesn't happen to me often. I don't get a setup for a joke like that. So, anyways, but here's the thing: by asking that question he asking that question here, it's fine because I can say no, it's inaccurate, and a lot of people go, oh, okay, that rumor's put to bed. Say you ask that question in the comments on a friend's page where like half, a lot of the people think vaccines are fine, and a couple people are like vaccines are the worst. And say you're like, hey, I heard this rumor. Some people are going to take that question as a statement of fact, and some people are going to take that question and go, I'm not sure about that. But they're not going to look into it. They're just going to eventually see other people say, I heard this. And eventually, because they heard enough people saying, I heard this without looking into it, might take it to be real. So when I have a question like that, it's asking me is an okay way to go about it because that's what I do. But I would recommend with those questions, look it up. Don't post it in the comments. Don't post it in like it's if someone's posted a COVID article, like one of the things I hate more, and it's almost always from Simon, I love you, but your boomer friends suck. But it's almost always like a boomer that's like, I heard that it's causing you to grow feet out your eyes. Like there's something's just not right with the boomers. Like I don't like they sent us to the like they were the greatest like they sent us to the no they didn't send us to the moon, that was the generation before, but like they did a lot of neat stuff. Now they're afraid of the science liquid, man. They don't believe in germ theory. Just what happened to you guys? I just want to throw it out there. Mom, tell your boomer friends, maybe don't post things saying I heard a rumor on the internet. Tell them to fact check. That's all I'm gonna request. So if there's my suggestion for managing those questions is ask them first, because otherwise people accidentally round up from I heard this to I know this is true. So I'm glad you asked it here though. So there we go. Mr. Jon Snow, I apologize if that came across as picking on you, but you asked the question. So glad I could clear that up though. So it's I have some defensive boomers in the comments. I'm a boomer. I want my back. Look, you guys are the good boomers. You're the boomers I want here. You're the ones that believe in the science. Then it's interesting because like you see a swath of it's like people about like 35 to 55 are following the rules and staying home and doing everything they have to try to keep the pandemic under control, and then like you get certain amount below 30 and a certain amount above 60, and people are like, they think either they're going to be fine or they're going to die so quickly it doesn't matter. Like either I think either they don't believe in it or they think it's either going to kill me or it's not going to touch me. Like it's been weird having to try to convince older people that this is real. Like I just why so man, I wish people would, I wish people would believe it when people in science say, hey, this doesn't do anything for me to tell you that this is going to kill you. I just want you to be safe. Like me telling you, random person in Alabama with 2 pre-existing lung conditions, me telling you that this could hurt you, it does nothing for me if you live or die. I just think that you would probably prefer to live. But you can't. You can save people from a lot of things. You can't save them from themselves. There was a request for another lick, and I believe I promised that to you. Got to give the people what they want. I see Diane Torgerson saying, my cousin who won't get the vaccine is a millennial. So based on my experience, all millennials are anti-vax. So I'm a millennial and I'm not anti-vax. So there. We're not all anti-vax, Diane. So we're 50%. Actually, my husband's a millennial too. So only a third of millennials are anti-vaxxers according to your experience now. So, oh man. It's interesting to see now. I'm just looking at the cross back and forth in the comments. I'm a boomer and I can't get my kids to. Yeah, I get it. There's always, no matter what, there's a story back and forth of I can't get my parents to listen. And here's the thing, maybe because I'm a millennial, and this is actually a good point. I have a case of sampling bias. I almost certainly have a fucking case of sampling bias because I'm sure people my mom's age have a lot of friends on their list who are like, I can't get my kids to believe me that this is real. And of course, the people my age have an issue of saying, I can't get my parents to believe this is real. So my list, sometimes you don't figure this shit out until it's right in front of your face. But yeah, maybe studies have kind of shown that you're more likely to, follow the rules. Like, and they've shown how many people are staying home and following lockdown orders. And like I said, it does tend to be elder millennials and Gen Xers that are following, lockdown. It's David Bullock. The Xers are disappointed in all of you. Look, I am barely not a Gen Xer. Okay, I'm I'm a Gen Xer in spirit and in angst and ennui. But I think like there's technically there are probably more elder millennials and especially Gen Xers that are percentage-wise following the rules. But yeah, I'm sure boomers think that millennials are worse about it, and millennials think that boomers are worse because it's what we see on our lists. And somehow I hadn't figured that out until now. So thank you guys for joining me for that moment of revelation about sampling bias. Oh man. We latchkeys were built for this crisis. Oh man, it's cheers to being a latchkey kid. It's like, but just so my mom doesn't yell, I wasn't technically a latchkey kid. It's just, but I had both parents working, and I did spend a lot of time in the summers alone. So Akiko just said, "Where are the Zoomers?" Look, the Zoomers have been like they are not. Look, they I think the Zoomers are still too young to have control over their lives enough to be responsible for any of the shit that they do. Like, the Zoomers aren't in college yet, I believe. Wait, no. Are the Zoomers in college? Yeah, the Zoomers are in college now. Jesus. Whew. But yeah, I also, here's like, I think Zoomers, because they're in college, I know the Zoomers are, here's the it's Kelly. I apologize. I'm about to butcher your last name. Kelly Zurcher. I'm so sorry. Kelly said the Zoomers are all right. They seem to see through the BS. I live in as I've said before, and I live in a neighborhood full of college kids who, of course, are Zoomers. And they're throwing parties every night. As I've said, there's a huge outbreak right in my fucking neighborhood because of the college students. So that's a little terrifying. So here's the thing: there are people in every generation that are on board with this, and then I think the Zoomers believe it's real, but I think they also think they're indestructible, and that's partially because when your brain's not developed past a certain point, you don't assess risk the same way that you do when you get older. So it's not their fault. It's just that's how their risk assessment. That is how their risk assessment machinery is working at this stage of the game. So that's just how that works. So it's I don't blame the Zoomers. I blame the partially their age and partially the environment that they're in for feeding so much disinformation towards them and not consistently telling them you have to do this. This mask is going to save your life and save the lives of people that are around you. What the fuck? So it's like I think about it, and like I think all of us are like, I would have been the good one if I was in college. I would have followed all the. Let me tell you something. You might have also been a complete asshole, complete fucking asshole, and you have no way of knowing. Like I like to think that I would have been the kid that stayed home and followed all the rules because I was a smart kid. I was on scholarship. I was a science major. I might have been a total asshole too, just because that's oh, sorry. Thank you for letting me know the mic was close, Leslie. I might have said, Wendy Gonzalez, college makes you think you're smart. Yeah, college makes you think you might think you're smart, but you also don't necessarily have it's as Paul just said, prefrontal cortex executive functioning immaturity is an issue. So that's that is an issue that can that can happen when someone's trying to make good decisions in college and they fail. They do not have the brain functioning yet to manage it all yet, and we wouldn't have either. So it's hard to it's hard to blame the kids. Let's blame the society around them that didn't give them a chance to be safe, right? So that's I think that's my summary on what happened with the college kids. So Leslie said it wasn't a big deal. I'm just easily distracted with the sound. Hey, the sound isn't good. That means it's not good for everyone. So let me know if the sound is off. So anyways, I think that's about gonna wrap it up for the day. I keep saying I'm gonna grab one more question, but and then I grab one more after that. Let's try to find some up note to end the day on. Let's see. Hunting through. There has to be one piece of good news. So there is one good piece of good news. Let's just think about this. This is the last weekend, the very last weekend that Donald Trump is our president. Start spreading the news. I'm so happy. But I don't know about you guys. I got myself some champagne chilling for the 20th. I understand that the 20th is also I'm so excited. One of my favorite patrons, Munchin Christian, has just gotten his vaccine. Also, Mom got her first dose of the vaccine this last week. I'm so happy that you guys are all getting your vaccines. Keep getting yourselves vaccinated. I'm so happy. Get yourself some of that immunity. Whew, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, we're we're all I'm just keep getting yourself some of that. I'm so happy for you. Let's just get me in line too. Anyways, but yeah, so it's the last weekend douche face. It's the last weekend that he's going to be anything other than that he's going to be anything other than unnamed co-conspirator number one. What was it? But yeah, that's after this. He's about to lose his job. Anyways, no more President Trump. So one thing I'm going to plead to you guys, because there has been there has been warning of violent upheaval in all 50 states now, and of course DC and all the state capitals on the 20th on Inauguration Day. Please stay home. Like if you live in or near a state capitol, if you live near the Capitol buildings, if you can possibly not go to work or leave the house or board up your fucking stay home. I don't think any counter protests are being planned. Like I know there are some people who say no, you have to go out and counter protest because if you don't, like, it's no. These people are going out to kill people. They've said so much. They have not been shy about saying what their plans are. There has been, oh, Kelly Grabowski Hall just said Parler's back up. Oh my. But wasn't the Parler data breach amazing? Because these idiots, these more they posted videos of them criming without, it's a one time in modern human history, or it's since the invention of where it's been completely fine to cover your stupid fucking face with a stupid fucking piece of cloth. And these guys are all like, I'm gonna treason, but I'm gonna treason without covering my face. And then I'm giving everybody who could access the internet all the proof that I did it. And I'm gonna show them proof that I had intent with all my tweets saying I'm gonna go do the crime, and then I'm gonna give them the proof that I did the crime, and then I'm gonna blame Antifers. So it's been wonderful watching all of that come to fruition because there and I love that one of the people that caught them, that hacked all that data was had the username Donk Envy, and I love that it was more, and I don't know if the username having envy in it was means that the person was non-binary or not, but I love that it's someone within the LGBTQIA within our little rainbow flag family that probably took down this group of assholes. So it's just, oh my God, it's been amazing to watch it. But the horrifying part, and we got to be really serious about this. The horrifying part about all of this, if you've seen more of the videos that have come out, like the first day, it looks bad and scary. There's a 15-minute video that if you watch nothing else, watch this 15-minute video from the Washington Post that shows, like, they went through a lot of the videos that were unearthed from Parler and various sources, and kind of chronologically are like, here's what's happening here at this minute, and here and here and here and here. Like, they give you a complete picture of what's happening moment by moment around the Capitol building. And it's much more terrifying than I initially suspected. Like, there members of Congress and Mike Pence, who I have never wanted a good thing for a day in my life, but now I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad he lived, which again shocks me. But there were members of Congress and Mike Pence barely got out of there alive in some instances. They were feet away. They were protected by a few feet in the instances. So it was terrifying. It was so terrifying. And like I've joked about guillotines before. I will never do that again. I think that somebody, Ron Murray just asked, would you be so kind to link to that? Let me have a look if I can find it right now and just put it in. Washington Post. Video to do Capitol siege. I just want to make sure you guys get this. I think this might be it. Oh yeah, here we go. And into the comments here. AOC said there was a moment where she was literally in fear for her life. Ryan mentioned, yeah, like, well, I saw her. I saw her saying that in a video, and at first I was like, really? And then I saw, all of the videos that were leaked up from Parler. I'm like, oh my God, they could have all been killed. Like, that's what these people were trying to do. And I'm pretty sure if I was in the Congress, I would have shat myself. I would have vomited. I don't know. Like, that was terrifying. And it horrifies me that there are people in Congress. I don't know, if I were a Republican, like, I don't know how I could still be one, but also, like, there are a couple of Republicans on, who said, nah, I gotta vote I gotta vote to impeach at the very least, because I almost got killed today. I don't understand how over 100 Republicans in Congress could still be like, nah, they were gonna kill me, but this is fine. This is totally fine. So anyways, my point of bringing all that up, because I really didn't want to, I love that we're getting away from politics for the most part. I hope that the only thing we talk about with politics after this week is occasionally dunking on Trump for going to jail. and talking about how well the vaccines are being rolled out after Biden is in office. Fingers crossed. But I just want to remind you guys, please, 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 don't go out on the 20th. If you've got a sick day from work, fucking take it. Or if you live in a capital area, if you live near areas that there are warnings might get hit, take the sick day, take the vacation day. It's if you need to, like, if you live near an area where it's been warned it's going to get scary, if you have to board up your windows, fucking board them up. Like, do what you have to. These people are terrifying. There are plans for militias to come out. The fact that they are more heavily guarded. We have more, I believe, troops in DC right now than we do in Afghanistan. So please be careful. Take care of yourselves. I want you guys to all, make it through this week. And I don't want anyone to get hurt. It's like, even the people who I disagreed with, who decided, hey, I'm going to treason, I didn't want anyone to get killed. So yeah, please, please keep yourselves safe. Let's hope that let's hope that they make a smart decision and go, hey, we can have this inauguration in a secure bunker and not put everyone's lives at risk, but they're not going to because they're idiots. So yeah, please keep yourselves safe. I love you guys. I want you all to be all right and come out of this clean on the other side. You just said, I love those headphones. These Amazon for like $35. And of course the glitter glue was all me because I am 5. Anyways, I love you. I get my last little call to action. If you guys want to join the little fiesta for one extra live stream a month, there's a link down to my Patreon. With $1 a month can help keep a science communicator off the streets. You can also do a one-time donation to PayPal, or send me some candy on Amazon, or a guitar, which candy, guitar, same. Anyways, I love you guys. Just, we're lick happy today. Anyways, I will see you later this week. Again, please stay the fuck home, down some champagne, and pray to God that the Republic is still standing after the 20th. And I will see you on Friday to discuss whatever the fuck happened this week. I love you guys. Bye.